This episode of Android Weekly is brought to you by Domain.com. You know, with Google I/O coming up this week, it reminds me that I have one of the greatest jobs in the world because I get to talk about technology that's just around the corner and how it may change all of our lives. So much so that you think that sometimes I might get sick of it. No, I don't get sick of it. So let's start off with Mother Google and what exactly is Google I/O? Google I/O is a software developer-focused conference held annually by Google at the Moscone Center in San Francisco, California. I/O historically contains a lot of highly technical discussions and sessions focused on Google's technology like Android, Chrome, and Chrome OS. There are a ton of sessions and tracks for Android developers and designers. Google I/O 2015 is a two-day event, and there are multiple sessions going on simultaneously, with the exception of the keynote, which is the only event in its time slot. We can also expect to hear a bit about Project Aura, a new Internet of Things platform codenamed Brillo, and possibly Android Pay. In addition, we've heard rumors about Android giving users power to hand-select individual app permissions. ARM recently announced that it will be working with Google on a new Android Java compiler codenamed Optimizing Compiler. It is unknown if it will make it into Android M, but we are keen to find out. Now, Mother Google has been known to do some pretty crazy things at Google I/O, like having skydivers dive into the Moscone Center roof. Crazy. So who knows what we can expect this year. And we have good news for you LG fans who are looking for a mid-tier option. LG has unveiled two new smartphones under its G4 name tag, the G4 Stylus and the G4C. The two are positioned as less expensive mid-range alternatives to the company's latest G4 flagship. The G4 is a rebranded G Stylo, which has already arrived in the US and Korea, and will be available on T-Mobile later this summer. The handset features a 5.7-inch 720 display and a quad-core processor in the LTE model, which we will assume is the same Snapdragon 410 processor as before. The handset also comes with 1 GB of RAM, 8 GB of internal storage with microSD card support, and a removable 3000 mAh battery. As the name implies, the handset also supports a stylus pen for handwriting. The G4C is a smaller version of the G4, but we hesitate to call it a mini. The handset features a 5-inch 720p display, an unspecified quad-core system on a chip, and the same 1 GB of RAM, 8 GB of internal storage, and microSD card support as the G4 Stylus. The handset also comes equipped with 8-megapixel rear camera and a 5-megapixel front-facing camera, LTE data, and a 2540 mAh battery. The G4C comes with metallic gray, ceramic white, and shiny gold color options. Now, according to a new report, Google has its sights set on the Internet of Things in a big way. Google has already made moves into this space before with the failed Android Home project, and more recently with several key acquisitions, including Nest. But now a new report from The Information suggests that Google is getting ready to release a new platform that will take things to a whole other level. Going by the codename Brillo, the new platform will supposedly debut this week at Google I/O 2015 and is said to embrace the lower power nature of the Internet of Things by working with devices offering as little as 32 or 64 megabytes of RAM. Reportedly, Brillo's development falls under the Android group, which means it's likely based on Android, though we can't confirm that just yet. We do have to wonder, however, if perhaps this is part of what Android M is all about, with Brillo being to Android M what Android Wear currently is to Android Lollipop. But to be clear, the information does suggest that Brillo is not yet a full independent operating system. So you guys remember the rumors surrounding HTC's H7 mid-tier tablet? Well, we got some more goodies. A week ago, rumors began to surface about a new affordable tablet from HTC, as the company confirmed that it was, quote, looking closely at entry-level and mid-tier tablets. Leaks had suggested that the company was working on a 7-inch tablet codenamed H7, and a device bearing the same name has recently been spotted in India's public import and export database. The shipment is listed as a sample for research and development, but also contains a brief list of specifications. The H7 tablet supposedly features a 7-inch display, 1.2 GHz quad-core processor, 1 GB of RAM, 16 GB of internal storage, and space for not one, but 2 SIM cards. The H7 looks to be a budget product, unlike HTC's last effort, the high-end Nexus 9, which launched last year. So in an effort to have some fun with our .com's website, I asked you to share in the comments below your own websites or businesses, and I would feature them here in this segment. And I did that with the Game Bolt, and one guy came up with something pretty cheeky, Jayce, the domainadvertiser.com. I'm impressed. You got the .com. Why? Because no domain name extension tells your story with the same level of trust as a .com or .net domain name. .com and .net domain name extensions inject credibility into your online presence. And who doesn't want more credibility? You can save 15% on domain name and web hostings when you use our coupon code ANDROID at domain.com checkout. Don't forget, 15% off when you use our coupon code ANDROID. When you think domain names, think domain.com. Thanks for watching Android Army. My name is Jayce. Connect with you right here on Google Plus or Twitter. But before I go, I did want to talk about the intro from yesterday or 2 days ago. It's all a bit of a blur now, where I was making a joke about men and their, geeking out on phones or technology and women geeking out on shoes. And that upset at least 2 of you. And I do sincerely apologize for that. That was definitely not my intention. But I will confess something, that I actually have more shoes than my wife, as she loves to point out. But she's never gonna miss on an opportunity to throw shoes at me, so we're doing that. I am always trying to make sure that you never know what you're gonna get when you watch this show. It's always gonna be a little bit different, fun, and informative. But if I overstepped the line that offended some of you, I sincerely apologize. I know there are women out there who are just as knowledgeable, if not more, than all of us. So don't forget about my brothers in Android who are trying to be your source for all things Android. I shall see you later on this week on Android Q&A.